You're a high school dropout, right? You dropped out of high school?
Yep.
And so he's telling a story about how he built highly successful business doing millions and millions of dollars a year. And my partner Dave looks at him, he goes, well, how did you do that? Just like, how did
I
you
think first he said, "Who are you? How did you do all that?" And you look at him and you're like, "What? Which part?"
I don't understand the
part?
question. Yeah.
And Dave goes, "All of it."
Yeah, I don't understand the question.
3, 2, 1.
All right, Deals and Dollars podcast, baby. We got a good one for you today. I'm really, really excited for this. Today we have Parker Little backstory. We came on your podcast, which was me and John, and I had a great time.
I had a great time. I was down in Miami.
Yeah.
Great gym.
Well, I mean,
In the gym.
anything in Miami, it's just a little bit
It's
better.
just a little escalated. It's better.
It's a little better.
How did we meet? Oh, we met him through Dave Savoff from Bowery.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old
And we went
boy.
to cafe something in Wynwood prior to when we first met you, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Some car
yeah,
coffee
yeah,
thing.
Yeah. And I forget where we met. No, we went to the there's a Mediterranean place there, Doya.
Oh, that was good.
Right? Didn't we do that?
Yeah.
Oh no, I had a meeting there, and then I met you guys.
Yeah, then
sorry,
you met us
sorry.
at it was some coffee shop
Yeah,
with like with a bunch of sick Porsches in there.
Yeah, I forget the name of it, but it's like a guitar place too.
Yeah,
So they sell a bunch of guitars in there. I wish I could remember the stupid name.
Yeah. That place was awesome. So Parker, I mean, dude, I can't even really explain what you do because you do so much. And from the minute I met you, I was like, this guy's different.
He's a savage.
He's something else. And so I think I'd be doing you a disjustice doing your intro. But why don't you just kind of give everybody an overview of who you are and what you do currently?
That's difficult. I don't really have an answer either. I do whatever I can do to make money and be interested in what I'm doing. So basically, I have a bunch of different companies. The main focus right now is my marketing business. My marketing agency is a digital marketing agency. We started that in 2010. My first paying client was $1,000 a month. Started from zero.
Wow.
I've got guitar schools in Tokyo, Yokohama, and Hong Kong. Real estate stuff here and there. Just kind of all over the place. Looking at some new, interesting stuff that you and I have talked about, off air. That gets me a little excited. But my background's basically sales and marketing is the easiest way to describe it. But now branching off into, building companies, but with that in mind. Because, my thought process is I might not know a lot about the thing, but I can sell the thing.
Right.
So if you start there, it's a pretty good start. So that's the simplest way I could describe what I do, I think.
So the best I think quote. We were at what was it, lunch in the city.
Yeah, Restoration Hardware.
Yeah, the rooftop, yeah.
That was the four of us. It was me, John, and Dave, and
Anthony.
And our guy Anthony and Parker.
Yep.
And Parker's talking about what he does, which like you just sold yourself so short because it's actually
Sorry, I didn't hype it up enough.
it's actually insane what you do. I mean,
Well, you're in like five totally different arenas, maybe even more, but like all very different things.
Yeah, but it's so to me, yeah, okay, yes, but also like to me, it's like it's all the same thing. Just understanding business and understanding, okay, what needs to happen in business. Like you guys both know, like when you build a business, there's only a few fundamentals.
the concepts still apply.
Still, it all applies. So my passion has always been not necessarily what the business is about. It's just the action of doing it. I like the action.
Of
Like if it weren't this, I'd be like a degenerate gambler or something. It's terrible. So at least this is productive.
I know where you were just about to go with that.
Yeah.
So keep going.
So he's telling a story about. I mean, you're a high school dropout, right? You dropped out of high school.
Yep, dropped out. I was going into 10th grade and I dropped out.
Okay, and so he's telling a story about how he built these businesses and highly successful businesses doing millions and millions of dollars a year, and you're in all these different verticals, and you're everywhere, and you're always going. And my partner Dave looks at him, he goes, "Well, how did you do that?" Just like how did
I think first he said, "Who are you? How did you do all that?" And you look at him and you're like, "What? Which part?"
I don't understand the
part?
question. Yeah.
And Dave goes, "All of it."
Yeah, I don't understand the question.
Which is like, I think Dave said it, but my thought process is like, dude, where the hell do you get the time? Like, what?
Well, I think now, so I would say like, I mean, there's so many buckets here. And I have to preface this to anyone watching. I have severe I'm pretty sure severe ADHD in all realms here. So business included. Like you could tell me business right now, pitch me. I'm like, that's a fucking good idea. Let's go do it. Like, and tomorrow I'm going to be texting you like, hey, what you want to, and you're going to be like, well, I was just kind of saying some offhand remark. I'm like, no,
let's do it.
It's a problem. So, which it probably answers a lot of these questions. But yeah, I just get really curious about stuff, man. I become obsessed is what really happens. I become obsessed. Like when I first started like marketing stuff, I didn't know anything about marketing. When I first started learning about real estate, I didn't know nothing about real estate. But something about it piques my interest, and then I just start. That's all I think about 24/7. And I just keep doing that until I learn more. I meet people that are interested and they have more experience, and I learn from them and ask them questions. And I'm just constantly gathering information to inform my next decision related to it, and hopefully find an opportunity in that process. So, you know, there's plenty of them that happen. And I've talked to you about a couple, but, you know, there's plenty that happen. And like even I had a meeting last week with my partner in the guitar schools in Asia. We were talking about like, oh man, it'd be great if we could just target an international market in this way and that way. And I threw out this idea of just doing like virtual lessons. And he's like, yeah, but the problem is, you know, all of our teachers are in, you know, this hemisphere, you know? And I said, yeah, cool. But you went to Berkeley and you know a ton of guitar teachers, right? He's like, yeah, I know. I was like, okay, so we'll call 50 of them and work out deals so we can subcontract it out and try to fulfill a service, because give me something to sell is what I told him. I was like, give me something to go sell.
Yeah.
So it's just following threads of opportunity. And like you run into a roadblock, you're like, okay, that might not work for whatever reasons. It's not profitable. It's hard to fulfill. It's, you know, I don't really think in terms of like, okay, what is this new initiative or new business? I don't think in terms of like, okay, how much time will that cost me? And will I get a good return from that time? No, I don't really think of that. I exhaust all options and I'm like, okay, this is a good or bad thing. And then once it's operating, then it becomes a time management thing. And for me, I'm very, 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 very dialed in with my organization of my day. Like to the minute, tasks, like high priority items, low priority, whatever, delegation, all that stuff is at this stage pretty dialed in. I've done it myself for a long, long, long time.
Yeah.
But now it's like I understand pretty clearly what I'm really good at. And I just want to focus my day around that. Now, there's times that doesn't happen. You know, you guys know just as well as anyone else. You know, it doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes you just get shit in your lap and you got to fucking deal with it.
Fires and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, happens. Like I'll have a perfect, like literally last Monday, I don't know, weeks run together. Recently, one of the Mondays recently, I'm like, okay, I'm pumped. Get up in the morning. I'm up early. I'm ready to go. My day's locked in. Look at my color-coded calendar with 47 things on it. I'm like, okay, I feel good. I know what the day's about. And as soon as the day started, issue. And like none of that got done. It's just completely scrapped. I was like, fuck. But that's how it is. But I think for me, I told you this earlier. I said, you got to have a little self-hate. And for me, I have a lot of self-hate. So at the end of the day, if I have like 3 things I like, those are critical items for one of the businesses or whatever, right? I'm speaking a little general here because, it's, you know, I can go specific if you want, but you know, let's say there's just 3 items that you really need to get done. If by the end of the day, I'm about to go to bed or I'm really tired because I'm beat usually, I'm like, oh God. And I'll look, and if there's still one there, I get angry. I'm like, you motherfucker.
You didn't finish it.
Get off your ass. Go do it. And like, even if I'm exhausted, I'm like, I'll try to force my way through it. And maybe I can't do it. Maybe it would, but like, I make the effort every single day. There's not a day that goes by that I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys know me long enough now where it's like, I'm
yeah.
pretty much always just on.
Yeah.
There's no way. And like, I said this recently, I think on my podcast about this, but like, it's really hard for me to turn it off. And, I came home from work when I was like 10 o'clock at night, 9:30, whatever. And my girlfriend's like, you know, she's done for the day. You know, she's like, you know, ready to fall asleep. And something that day sparked my interest. Like like a thread popped up that I wanted to pull on. So in my head, like if I'm not talking to you guys know how much I talk and how fast I talk, right? Like it's a lot. For most people, it's too much. But if there's a thread I'm pulling on in my mind, I won't say anything. You'll know because
you're thinking about something.
I'm just thinking.
The wheels are turning.
Yeah, wheels are turning. And so I was like that. And then I finally was like, hey, what do you think about that? Just like going. And she's like, you're a lot right now. Can you just like,
slow down.
Oh yeah, it's 10:45 at night on a whatever day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, honestly, I just pull threads and then I stay really consistent and organized about my shit and get it done. That's how I think of it. I don't really think bigger than that in terms of working towards something. you know, I might have a goal like, hey, I want to like easy goal, right? Sales, like, hey, I want to X amount. That's a very easy one metric, right? But how do you get there? What does that look like?
Yep.
Okay, how consistent you need? Okay, you need to do X of these a day. You need to do whatever. Okay, so who on your team's going to do what? Here's your dialers, here's your emailers, here's your follow-uppers, whatever, how you're structuring it. And then it's just a numbers game, and everything's a numbers game to me from that perspective. You know, it's the power of compounding is a big deal in my mind. That's a roundabout way to say I just keep doing shit every day.
So, I mean, look, let me just paint a picture here. So, how many businesses are you currently involved in?
I mean, like daily involved in, or
No, like, are you actually, you have
interest in
whatever.
whatever.
Yeah.
Whether you're running it day to day or you just have a ownership percentage.
interest.
Yeah.
Okay, so and we're defining as ongoing operations, not like entities, right?
Yeah,
Like
I would
ongoing,
say.
like
ongoing.
business that
Yeah,
revenue
yeah.
building.
Yeah,
et
not
cetera.
like a property that has its own entity.
Yeah,
right?
okay, all right. So I think 18 or so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and this maybe you don't know this off the top of your head. How much of revenue are all of those businesses doing?
I don't know.
Collectively,
Give me like
if you
give
had
me
to
like
put
a range.
ballpark number on it.
All of them together,
Yeah,
eight figures. 8 figures.
8 figures
Yep.
a year.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
very significant.
Yeah, I mean, but some of them are high margin, some of them aren't.
Right.
You know.
No, but still, I mean that's so. I'm going somewhere with this, right? So you're running 18. You're part of. 18
Yeah, part of.
businesses.
I'm not involved
Running.
daily with all of them.
And then so the next question is like what Dave said. How did you do all that? I guess what I struggle with personally, and this is out of my own need, is I love to be super regimented with my day, but it never goes according to my plan. So I'm always putting out fires. Talk me through your planning process for your day, your tasks, your agenda, and how you're getting so much done. And then also what I hate is letting people down, which is like,
Yeah.
I can't make this meeting, something came up, blah, 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 and I hate that part of it.
See, I don't think that way. I think no is the best thing in the world.
Okay.
I say no to a lot of things.
Okay.
But I would say that there's a balance for me. The balance of saying no to things that aren't critical in that moment, but saying yes to things that have some serendipity to it, I
Right.
guess is the best way to describe. Like, there's people that I've met on Twitter that are, I know they're doing things, but there's no like direct path to being like, oh, we're going to work together. Like, I don't really know, but I have a feeling,
Yeah.
you know, the intuition you have. And I'll say, okay, cool, let's go grab a beer or something. And that, you know, becomes a relationship, and that turns into something. You guys know, I mean, you guys are master networkers, right? So you understand how that works. But I think that's, I never neglect that, the yes part, where I'll go do something with somebody that is new to my world.
Right.
Because it's interesting, right? And like great examples, like you guys in Miami, like Dave's, you know, whatever. Like, I had no idea who you guys are. No idea what you did. Like I don't even know how he preferences it. Maybe like, hey, these guys are lenders or something. That was it. Like there was no context. But I'm like, okay, cool. And he said cars. Like you guys, I'm like, okay, fair enough. I'm in the area. Cool, let's do it. That was it.
Right.
And like, in terms of meeting people, that's a bucket for me, because I always want to meet new people.
You're always that's a priority.
That's a priority for me.
Got it.
Because I don't want to sound some corny asshole, but like the net worth network thing,
Yeah.
cliche.
No,
but,
it's true.
No,
but
it's true.
very true.
Cliches exist for a reason.
Yeah,
Right? Like,
yeah,
it's not
You
like,
never know who you're going to meet next and what part
What they're doing.
what part of what you're doing they could fit into, or maybe not. Maybe you use them down the road, but you never know.
But the interesting part to me is now at this point in my life, I don't really think about like, okay, I'm going to meet John, and then I can work a deal with him. I'm going to make some money. I don't really think about that at all. In fact, that's pretty much the last thing on my mind when I meet somebody new. I'm usually thinking like, I think value first a lot, and not in like
how can I provide value?
and not even like a cheesy sense. Cause I feel like a lot of people have like taken that phrase hostage a bit.
Yeah.
And they're just like, how can I provide value until they give me what I want? Like, no,
Yeah.
no, you fuck.
Just give.
Yeah.
No, just give. And like how that manifests in my life is like connecting you with like the guy down in 30A and like,
Yep,
hey,
yep.
talk to him. He's interesting. You know, he's doing cool projects. Like maybe that manifests some way for you, maybe not, whatever. Like, but at least if you go there, you know a guy who's doing interesting
100%.
things, you know? And that's how I think about it. And the phrase I use now is like becoming a super connector. And I know you guys know this power, but you know, like if I can connect you, like tell me a problem you have, I can connect you to somebody that can help you solve it.
Yeah.
Maybe I can help you, but if not, I know somebody that I got a guy, right? And that ability, I feel like unlocks a lot of doors, and not really in the sense of like, if I do that for you, I get something like, not like that, not tit for tat, but more in the sense of reputational, like go to Parker if you need something because he's got a guy.
Now you make yourself the guy.
You're
Somebody
the guy.
needs something. They have a
You
problem.
guys
they're gonna call
both.
you.
You guys both.
Yeah, I think you do a great job.
He's amazing at it, and I know you are too. You
I don't
guys
think
both.
I'm on his level. I think he does better than me, actually.
Really.
Yeah. I think you have it dialed in.
Why do you think that? I'm curious.
Well, we've had conversations where you're willing to help me in certain instances, above and beyond what even a normal thing would be, right? And it impressed me. It impressed me because it's unique. It's not something that most people do, and because now it's like, look, we're in a world now where there's so much information, there's so much entertainment, there's so many people doing many things, like whether some are real and fake, like whatever. It's just there's a million things happening all at once, right? And the equalizer is time. And if you tell me you're willing to spend an hour doing something with me for no benefit to you, I'm like, oh shit, okay, that's interesting. Because why? There's maybe nothing for you. Maybe like I got people in my pocket. I can send you okay, cool, whatever. But time is time.
Yeah,
you can't buy more.
I know the exact conversation you're referring to too. And like for me, it's kind of like I just know that if roles were switched, you do the exact same thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't feel like that with a lot of people. But if I do,
if you pick up on it, right, it's even easier.
But John, you don't just do that for Parker though. And honestly,
well, that's what you really pick up on. It's that.
Yeah.
Because it's like I'm no different than the next guy you meet, and whatever, like different personality, whatever. But like your willingness to say yes to that, like you said, tells me that you do it with more people than just one.
Well, you know what? Like,
and it means you're generous with your time in that sense.
I've become, I don't want to say dependent, but it's like, shit, I need a guy for this, and like I'm just like, John probably has a guy, and he always has a guy. He always has a guy.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And
but I could say that vice versa. Like we do that back and forth a lot. With
you do, but you like we needed T-shirts this weekend, and I was like, I'm like, all right, well, and we've ordered apparel for our company a million times. I'm like, I should have somebody
somewhere to go,
and then we couldn't find somebody to get it done in the amount of time we needed, and then immediately John had a guy that actually is in Newark.
Pulls up in a van and starts
right
making
here.
the things.
I'm like, how do you have this guy? Like, always. It's just,
awesome.
like, it's always. And like you two both, I mean, not barely, we met one time and you're already hooking me up with people. And I think, that's just such a valuable skill you have.
Well, I don't know if it's a skill. I think it's a character thing, actually. I don't, like anybody can like, here's how you go into your phone book and grab them in here. Like, that's the skill.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not really a skill. In my head, it's like, how are you raised? Did your father do that? Like, maybe. If not, maybe he didn't do it enough and you think, I want to do it. And that's what formed your opinion. And, or you saw a mentor in your in life that did it. And you're like, that worked really well for them because the reputational benefit or whatever the thing is, right? And you locked onto it. You're like, that's awesome. Or you just like being the guy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
it feels
for me,
good.
like I would, like you said, right? I was kind of just brought up like that. I was always like that, but really, it was our Deals and Dollars event that we threw. Like that's what really, I don't know. Like you and Eric introduced me to the mentality called the Go Giver mentality, right?
Yep.
Which is exactly you know what it is, and that's kind of like, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was kind of like the preface of like our event.
That was the whole idea.
That was like the whole preface,
like,
right?
Give with no expectation in return.
Right? Like, how can we put all these high value people doing this, this, and this? That's all part of the real estate full circle transaction, whatever you want to call it, in the same room, in a fun, interactive environment to interact with one another, and just expecting nothing from it, right? Like, here's everybody, try to make something work,
right?
And I don't know. I think kind of just like, I think I saw what the feedback was from that event and how many people were like appreciative and grateful, and actually how many people, like I had at least 5-10 people tell me, oh, I got a deal from this person at your event, or I had something actually come from the person that you put me in the room with.
Yeah, same.
And that actually it meant a lot to me.
Yeah. Well, and it's like a roundabout way you're doing the same thing, but at scale a bit.
100%.
Which is really cool. I like the idea you guys have for that.
It was the go giver, right? Give without, but also to be like the hub, right? Like if we could be the hub with all these spokes out here, right? And everybody can come into us first, and then like we can put them in the right
if
spot.
you're the common denominator, people will come to you more often. You'll get leads. There's a bunch of business benefits.
And this goes back to exactly what you were saying, right? Like I think everybody loves to be the man. Like I don't want to be the man to be the man. I like to be the person that everybody goes to for whatever, because it's going to open doors that you don't even know are there.
Yeah.
Right? Like whether it's something as stupid as somebody needing, like who texted us for a reservation at Carbone in Miami recently, like that was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Or somebody that's looking for financing or an opinion on a deal, right? Maybe it's a deal that doesn't work for them, but maybe Eric will buy it. Like it's always something, you know?
Yeah, or you connect them with somebody else that wants to buy
Yeah.
it or whatever.
And not
Plenty of
even looking for a
investors.
dollar on it, but maybe it's
No.
going to open up the door to do more debt, or maybe it's going to open up some guy who, you know, wants to sell all his properties off market in Newark, and I could put it, you know, Eric's king of Newark, put him in with them.
And
like,
what happens is that one guy, like, say you do that for 100 people, 1 or 2 or 3 of those people are like, hey, I'm going to keep doing this with you
uh-huh.
Yeah.
over and over
Yeah.
and over. And
Right.
then that relationship becomes something
Yeah.
over time.
Well, you do it
that's
with 10
amazing.
people. How many people do those 10 people know?
Yeah.
I said this once on a podcast. I was like, you never know who knows who. And I really try to like stay true to that.
Yeah.
Like one day, just to shorten it up, one day a kid messaged me on LinkedIn like a couple years ago. If I didn't answer that message on LinkedIn and talk to that kid, I would not have any business in Los Angeles. Now, like 30% of my, probably a little less now, but like 30% of my pipeline is in LA, all because I just answered a DM at midnight on LinkedIn.
And not to mention, next week we're going to his office, and he has somebody that wants to write us like a $7 million check
awesome.
to
for
fund,
one,
huge.
for
fund
one
him
deal.
up.
And this kid he's put me in touch with 3 or 4 clients. Those were the first 3 or 4 people that he put me in touch with in LA. They were all north of 70, 80 million net worth.
Yeah. that's
Some of
huge.
which are a couple hundred million.
Makes
net
me
worth.
think I need to go into the hundreds of LinkedIn unread messages.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I'm
but it's like-
There's
oh.
so many.
It's like you never. It all goes to what we were saying. Like you never know who knows who.
So true.
That's why you help. You know, I try to like within reason help everybody do. You know, do what you can.
Well, and the crazy part is like the world is much smaller than people think.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're once or twice removed from pretty crazy people. Like
Yeah.
I know people in Miami that have connections to a lot of well-known people and whatnot, and it's weird to talk to them about. It's like, yeah, it's just a normal guy. I'm like, what? And even going to some of the events in Miami, it's just like
yeah, well, when you probably
Rick
went with,
Ross walking by, you're just like, what?
yeah, when you went with
happening?
when you're close with what's his name down there. I don't
Yeah.
want to say names,
Yeah.
but like you probably are rolling in the circles of pretty crazy fucking.
It's
people.
interesting, yeah, a lot of interesting
Yeah.
people. Let me tell you, it's
I'm sure.
it's wacky because like, and I'm not like I'm definitely not one of those people that gets I get you call it starstruck. I don't have that because I kind of have this baseline. You know, I grew up. I guess I don't know if you guys know this or not, so I'll tell you a very quick story. But I grew up in a mobile home, you know, in Tallahassee, Florida.
No way.
Yeah, there's 300,000-400,000 people in that town. Very, very blue collar. My dad had a body shop business, so collision center. He started when he was 21. Had 0 business experience when he started. 0. And it was a big jump for him. You know, he worked in body shops as a kid and whatnot, but so he went out on his own. You know, by the time he was 30, he had 3 sons, a wife, you know, this mobile home, and IRS debt, and the business was failing, and he's working 100 hours a week, and it was like just very, very stressful for him.
Right.
But I was raised in that environment of watching him just work his tail off every single day, and so that's where I picked up on like, you could always work harder because the bar is there, right? So I always had that. And, you know, I come from this mentality is like, what hard work looks like is very, very, very hard work. So that's to preface now probably why I work really hard, number one, because I might work hard and work harder than a lot of people, I think, but I never feel like I'm working hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tied to that. But also tie into this with, you know, celebrities and people that are well known. Like I don't, you know, I'm thinking like what you do is 10 times easier than what
Yeah.
I've seen. Like, you know, so it's like
yeah.
I'm on that default plane, and whether that's true or not is
Yeah.
a different conversation.
That was just the mindset you have.
Yeah. So it's like if somebody like is a basketball player, I'm like, oh, that's cool, but you know, like try building like a bunch of businesses.
Yeah,
and,
right.
Yeah.
you know, like have IRS debt, like all these,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
have stresses that are real.
You're
like
not going to
real
sit here and
people.
like drool over this guy. Like,
No, but it's like it's interesting
Yeah.
because, and I don't watch sports, so it's like even further. I don't really care, but like it's interesting to talk to somebody that's interested, like that is smart and really understands the business of basketball. That gets me engaged. I'm like, oh, cool. All right, well, tell me what your thoughts are on ticket sales or how
Right.
the stadium's set up or you know whatever. That's interesting to me. But like how you make money, you're just an employee. Like I'm just that's how I think of it. You know.
Yeah.
So it's
Pretty
not
much,
that interesting to me, but it's at the same time still strange to see somebody that you see on a screen,
Mhm.
you know, for a while, and then you see him in person. You're just like, oh, he's, you know, fatter than I thought, you know, like, or whatever, right? It's like that, but you know, as soon as that wears off, you're just like, oh, well, okay, well,
Just a normal
this is
guy.
weird, you know. But I feel like every day in Miami is a pretty weird day. It's one of the strangest cities I've ever been in, honestly, and I've been all around the world at this point.
I think Miami's just like, I mean, obviously it's fun, this and that, but I think it's so unique in the sense that every 5 feet you meet somebody that has a ton of money, but nobody seems to be working ever.
Yeah,
Like-
nobody seems to be working.
like ever.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's the OnlyFans capital of the world. So
OnlyFans capital.
yeah.
There we
There's
go.
some article recently that came out about that.
Nice.
But yeah, a lot of people there. I don't really know what a lot of people do there.
Mhm.
It's kind of like
And
that,
that was kind of where I was going with that too. You don't really know. I don't know who does what, if anything.
if anything.
Yeah.
You know, they could have
There's
just
a bunch of scammers too.
Yeah.
a lot of scammers, a lot of influence. You know, a lot of people like make money on YouTube, make millions of dollars on like YouTube, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur." I'm like, "You just make content, though. That's, I mean, I guess you can call that a business, but I don't know. In my head, again, my default is like sell copper piping to, you know, like do something like difficult.
Like real
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
Like
That's-
go through
that-
the steps of actually building.
yeah,
Like, the
have a
back-
thought
yeah.
process, have failure, like not just like
Yeah.
you know, talk to
Content
your cell
creator.
phone. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's a lot of that there. There's a lot of people, you know, now it's changing through COVID. A lot of Miami has changed. You know, like Citadel has moved down. Several other big financial institutions have opened offices there. A ton of development. Like,
How'd you end up in Miami? I mean,
So-
so you're in Tallahassee?
so yeah, I grew up in Tallahassee,
Okay.
but oh man, I'm skipping over a big part of the story here. So
no. I'm just curious.
yeah, so I mean, long story short, I moved for business, work
Okay.
purposes. Employees are in Miami and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But the longer story is I actually moved from Tallahassee to another city to another city. I just kept moving around,
Yep.
and I worked at the only corporate job I ever had was at a company called Camping World, and Camping World is a national RV dealer network. It's a corporate business. I don't know how many dealers they have now, 200 and something, probably more now.
It's an RV dealership.
Dealerships,
Got it.
right? So dealership has several departments: sales, service, finance, retail, parts. You know, it's a dealership.
Yeah.
So I started there, making $28,000 a year.
When was that?
So that was in 2010, 2011.
Okay.
$28,000 a year. I had already started doing some marketing on the side, which was where my business came from.
I feel like you didn't last long there.
So I got fired 3 times from that company. So
3 times.
yeah,
Well,
3
how'd
times.
you get back in 2 times?
there's a lot of weaseling.
He's a salesman, dude.
Yeah, a
obviously.
lot of weaseling your way through. So I'll tell you. So the first time I got laid off technically, and I tried to do college. I tried like a community college for like a semester or 2, and then I was like, oh, "Fuck this! This is insane." Because schooling is just not for me. Number one, I have major authority issues. Like, tell me to do something, I'll tell you to go fuck yourself, basically. Second is I was just not engaged with anything. Like, there was a couple within that small period of time when I went to community colleges. There was like a couple interesting courses, like some humanities. Like, that was interesting. I like history. But if it didn't, you know, once that wears off, I didn't see any value. Like, I'm doing the math. Like, this professor makes $60,000 a year. Why is he teaching me anything? What the fuck?
Right. Yeah.
You know, so I'm thinking like that, which is, you know, you can argue that's probably not the right way to think about college education, but I just didn't see the point.
Well, why is this guy who's never built a business teaching me business?
Well, and I just knew I'm going to go into, I'm going to be a business person. That's
Right.
all I've ever thought of my entire life. Like, you know, I made money when I was in 3rd grade selling pencils and paper. I washed cars and sold other things while I was in high school. You know, making money was just always in my DNA.
Right.
Now, I didn't really understand what that meant. You know, the complexities around it in the real world, you know, once you grow up. But I just knew that's who I wanted to be, right? The business person. That's only thing I've ever wanted, really. So I just knew over time that's where I wanted to go. But I also knew I felt like I didn't know enough to really do it at that time. And so I tried the college thing for a bit, and I was like, okay, well, I need to get a real job. You know, I need to go to work, right? So I went back to Camping World and got a job. And then that was a little better income, doing marketing still in a business development marketing position. Did that well for a while and actually did some new things that they had never done that succeeded, and then got an attention of a general manager in Atlanta who I don't know how he found me. Somebody connected him to me because in that business at the time, you know, you have a bunch of different dealerships, right, all over the country, and they're kind of independent of each other, but they also have like this corporate structure, right? Like process implementation, whatever.
Yeah.
So there's some of that, but this at that time was still very like, hey, you own a dealer, or you're the GM in Charlotte, and you're the GM in Atlanta. You guys run your stores different ways and manage things differently. Cool. Now I think it's more like, here's your rule book, stick to the fucking rule book. So the reason I say that's important is because, or it's important because he called me because he saw what I was doing with, at the time I was doing Facebook ads. I was, you know, at this time it was 2012 or whatever. Just crushing with Facebook ads.
It was like the best time to do it.
It was, I crushed.
Yeah.
Crushed. And you got to remember on the side, I'm still building ALH, my marketing business. So I'm still building that on the side, having clients or whatever. And I was talking to him and he's like, look, come do this at my store. I was like, I named a number. I was like, give me this number and I'll do it. And he said, sure. So the next week, I'm in Atlanta. I moved to Atlanta next week.
Wow.
And then from there, you know, there's period of time there. I'm just working, building up their internet sales department, building out new processes, blah, 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 you know, all that stuff. But also the
learning at the same time.
Well, learning, and I was kind of finagling my way in. And what happened was, so usually there's like a GM and then there's like a sales manager or a GSM. So when the GM's not there, that's the boss basically. And what I started doing is finagling my way into those conversations with those guys. Cause I'm just like a middle manager basically at this point. I finagle my way in to be like, whenever they're looking through like their P&L and their AR and their payables, I'm like, what is that? What's this? What's it? What So I'd sit in their office and just like poke it. They probably fucking hated me because I'm like asking them a million questions. I'm like, what about that? Why are we writing off this percentage every month? Why, you know, when there's a new ticket, why, if it's 90 days old, why isn't it happening this? I'm asking just questions. Tons of questions.
That's a great lesson.
It was awesome.
That's a great lesson. I mean, just in general for people listening, you know, be curious, right?
Yeah, it was definitely curiosity. But again, like my context was like, I know I'm not going to be here forever.
Mm-hmm.
I know I want to go into business for myself completely. I need to understand some of this stuff. Like, what is the rationale behind, you know, it's like if I were in your business, I didn't understand lending. I'd be like, what's an LTV?
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's like, what is that? Explain that to me.
Yeah.
How does that work? Okay. What does terms mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. Tell me. What do you know, it's just asking questions. Like, imagine if you had an 18-year-old kid in here who had no understanding of any of it. Okay. Well, where do closing costs come from? What, you know, like all the basic stuff. But to him, it's new. That's all I was doing. I was just asking a ton of information. And then finally, I kind of finagled my way into being like the GM on Sunday. I was like, look, just let me do it. So now I'm desking deals. And at the time, what that is like, I don't know if you guys know the business model like a car dealership, but you know, there's salespeople. There's it's called up rotation. Means like if there's 10 of them, it's like you're up. Somebody comes in, that's your up. You take them and go do your thing. Next person that come in, it's your up. You take them, go do your thing. So you're up.
It's like a round robin
right.
lead.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. For the
But
foot
the
traffic.
lead is the people coming in.
Foot traffic and e-lead traffic too. By the way,
okay.
there's round robin for that.
Makes sense.
So basically, I would be the GM on Sunday. I eventually got to where I'm like the GM on Sundays. There's no pay benefit to that, by the way. But I did it only because now I have access to the system. So all the questions I'm asking, the system they're using, it was it's called IDS at the time. It's some old shit system that you're using. But I got access to this thing that I didn't really have full access to before. But they gave it to me because now I have to kind of be able to see like gross profit on every unit and Like I have to see all that to be able to work deals because I was there to help salespeople close deals. So I'm like, not necessarily
to know where you can bend and how far.
Right.
You can
Yeah.
go.
Exactly. So if I know, okay, we have $6,000 in fat here on this deal, and this guy's asking for $5,000 off, go back in and close them at 2 off and make it sound good. Like, you know, like that kind of thing.
Right.
So through that process, I was doing that a bunch, which was a very good learning experience. And I always joke about that period of time as being very formative for me in terms of understanding how to run a pretty big business. You know, they're doing $100 million a year per store, you know, give or take a couple million, 10 million, whatever. So I'm, you know, 21, 22, end up, you know, being part of the management in these stores and really like, even when they started doing a roll up, if you guys are familiar with private equity roll ups, they started doing that. They weren't calling it that, but they're buying mom and pops. And during that transition, you know, the regional people would go into these new stores, and I would always like advocate, like, hey, let me come with, I can help, blah, 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 blah. Just whatever reason, because I want to go see it up front. I want to see up close, see what's happening. So I could see, standardization of processes. I could see all the benefit, what they're doing. Wow. I could understand it really clearly. And I would go in and see like, okay, well, the GM that we bought, basically when we bought the dealership, he's, driving one of the inventory trucks home, and he's got an inventoried boat sitting at his house, and like, what the fuck, what's going on? Why haven't we sell it? Because you would see the aged inventory, and it's like 482 days old. Like, what the fuck is going on with it? So we would dig into the numbers, and now it's our understanding, like, okay, used versus new versus aged inventory versus, newer, the Bank of America floating the floor plan, lending, understood. Like, there's just a bunch of like little things you understand, plus starting to manage people and start understanding all the intricacies of that. It was a very good learning experience, how to run a business. And I say, always joke about how not to run a culture, because the culture is very, and I think it's this way for a lot of big corporations. It's very, like, if I come to you and you're my direct manager, right, in that business at that time anyways, I would say, hey, I've got this great idea. Let's try something new. It's an experiment. There's a little risk with it though, and I want to try this thing because I think, I'll pitch you on the benefit, right?
Yeah.
There's almost no incentive for you to say, hell yeah, let's try it.
Let's try it. Yeah.
It's more like, that's going to get me in trouble if we fuck it up.
Yeah.
Right.
You'd rather be safe and keep your job.
Right. Exactly. So everyone's just looking out for their own job.
Right.
And there is a little bit of push here and there to make it better, whatever. But it's usually most of the ideas that get implemented are some corporate person somewhere. It's like, we're doing this now. It's not from the ground up.
It's all status
boots on the ground.
Shit. Yeah.
Right. And I always took that to heart, because that just creates like this political bullshitty environment where people are just kind of stabbing each other in the back and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And I got to remember my contacts, like blue collar, hate authority. I fucking hate it. I just miserable. So there's this one, they're still with the company, so I won't mention exactly, but there was this incident where we were at this show, and there was a miscommunication. This person didn't tell me to do something, and then got angry at me for not doing this thing. This person was not like a direct manager. She was in this middle management regional position. So she told the GM or GSM, I forget, whatever, this guy, to fire me basically. And he did, but I knew exactly what I was like. Oh, really? She told you? Like, you just tell me, bro. Like, it's fine. But he was not man enough to do that. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. So, but here's how I got fired. There's the number 2.
Nice.
And what happened was that was on a Friday, and the show we did was right before that. So it was on a Friday when that happened. And by the time Monday came around, I already had a new, better paying position in a different dealership. And how that worked was I had met this GM of another dealership, like at that show we were talking about. And we were just he was kind of similar minded, and he was like, yeah, these people are fucking nuts. Like, just, this is insane here. Yeah. Right. So we jammed a bit, and we just got along. Right. And I called him as soon as it happened. I said, hey, bro, you'll never guess what happened. And he's like, oh, no shit. He's just kind of a bro. I said, look, I'd love to come up there and do whatever. I know you have X, Y, and Z. He's like, come up, be the finance manager. I said, okay, cool, done. He's like, but I don't know how I'm going to work that out. I said, don't worry about it. I'll transfer myself. He's like, what? I was like, I'll transfer myself.
Well, you logged in?
No. I didn't do anything crazy. What I did is went up to the office manager, who was a very sweet lady, and I said, listen, I know you have termination paperwork for me, but if you could just be a doll and hold that until Monday, that would be great, because I'm being transferred. So I didn't technically get fired. It was transfer paperwork. So, because she sent it immediately up to him, and he's like, transfer, boom, approved, transferred.
Wow.
So I didn't get fired completely. So on Monday, boom, I'm in that dealership. I moved all my shit in the weekend. Boom, I'm in Knoxville now. And at the new dealership, same logo on, bam, I'm here. Way better paying job, everything. So yeah. So now I'm learning finance, how to finance RVs, which was what I wanted to do. And the finance of RVs is like, it's in between a mortgage and an auto loan, basically. It's somewhere in the middle. So I got to learn a lot.
That makes sense. It's a mobile home. It's a car.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. So there's a lot of protections you have to do, but there's a lot of upselling and things you can do in finance that I couldn't do in the, like if you go in to sell an RV, right? If you come in, I say, okay, you want to buy this RV? Cool. It's 50 grand, right? You say, I don't know, I can do 45. So I'll do it for 48 for you, whatever. Okay, bang.
Yeah.
Great. You go into finance office, it's like, hey, you need tire protection, you need paint protection, you need gap insurance, you need bang, 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 bang. There's products you can sell,
Okay.
right? You guys know, are you familiar with a menu? Selling menu, like in finance?
No.
Okay,
No.
so how it's back then it was a piece of paper, laminated piece of paper. And imagine, you know what good, better, best model is, where it's like, here's 10.99, 20,
Yeah.
30, and this is all the extra things you get, right? I had always thought it was a learning experience just on that one thing, because I had always thought about products and like, all right, I'm going to sell you something that's $10 and this is what you get. I always thought of it as like, okay, and then I need to tell you, hey, but you can give me $20, I'll give you even more. But you can give me $30, I'll give you even more. But what it did is gave me a paradigm shift where I thought down from the best to worst. So now because they trained me to teach, to put this thing out, say, okay, with like the platinum package, you get bang, 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 all the stuff, right? Because everything.
So you're starting there.
You're
Right.
starting high as opposed to
High,
starting low.
Right. Starting high, and like that's the most expensive payment.
Okay.
Because you're adding in tens of thousands of dollars worth of shit they don't really need.
And then they're like, well, you're price anchoring, kind of, right?
Kind of, yeah, kind of. So
Okay.
you're setting their position like, hey, it's high. Okay, well, anything's better than that in their head, because you're like, all right, sick, that's better than bronze, the garbage one you don't want, right? So I would go down, say, and the phrasing, I've always loved this phrasing. So it's like, imagine there's 10 items, right? I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, right? And then I say, and I put the pen there, say, yeah, you sign whatever, and then they say, well, that's it's $1,000 over the payment I can do. I was, oh, okay, well, I totally understand. Well, if you wanted to do the gold, you forfeit. It comes with all that, but you forfeit, and then I would take the 3 that they don't get and focus on those, which is interesting to me because I'm a sales guy, right? So I'm thinking about, okay, so you forfeit these 3 options, and then I'd go into depth of those 3. Like with this, you get bang, 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 and with this, you get da 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 da. But if you select gold, you're really forfeiting these options. Do you want to do that? And I'd just shut the fuck up. I could sit here for 82 minutes straight, and then you work your way down. But my average became much higher because now they're not thinking about, oh, I got to pay more to get more. It's I'm losing out on if I keep going further down. Nobody wants to be bronze, right? So
once you go down to that second option, you don't even
it's
need to read
garbage.
the
You don't
third
even want
option.
the RV anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that made me start appreciating word tracks and setting people up in different ways when in terms of sale process. So it taught me a ton. And actually, I'll tell you a quick story. So in my office in Knoxville, I had one of the products you sold was tire protection. So it's like and roadside assistance. So it's like if your tire blew out, we'll pay for it and we'll send roadside out, whatever, right? It was nothing, but I made money on that. Every single one I made money. I can make 10 grand. I can make 20 grand, whatever, on all these products together. So it mattered to me. It mattered my paycheck. So I took a shredded tire, like a little tire, just completely blown out, hung it on the wall behind me. And what I would do, the best ones, and I'll share this story. So basically what would happen would be, there'd be a guy and his wife. And they would come in. You got to remember, they've been on the lot for hours. Okay, so they've been on the lot for hours. And, somebody sold them on an RV, right? And they came in to buy an RV, but they sold them on the RV. They maybe don't like the fact that they just got sold. They're, but they're happy because we're like, okay, cool. We picked the thing we like and we want to travel and whatever, all this bullshit, right? And I had the salespeople fill out like a prep sheet for me, where I'd like understand nothing about the RV, none of that shit, nothing. Just tell me their story. I want to know what they're about, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's their, they have kids, they whatever, right? I want to know. So when they get in there, and I would have them notate if the guy was like, it had an ego or was a little aggro. Cause I'm like, that's perfect, awesome. Cause I always turn them against each other. So what happened? Well, I remember one time that happened, and this guy came in, and he's all real big dude, huffing and puffing. He's like, oh yeah, we don't buying anything in here. Blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, totally understand, sir. But I disregarded him basically from the moment I met them, and just talked to them like, hey, how are you? Oh wow. Wow, I like that purse. Wow, you need some water? Here, have a seat. Just catering to her, right? And I'm talking like 30 minutes. I could tell he's getting frustrated, so I just dragged longer and longer and longer just to get him riled up. So I'm doing this, and she's loving it, right? She's getting attention. She's whatever, right? So I remember this couple sat him down in my office, and we're going through the pitch, whatever, and we get to the part of tire protection. And the guy immediately was like, no, I don't want to. No, it's too much, too expensive, right? I'm like, oh, okay. I said, so let me paint a picture for you guys. Say you're driving down, I think it's I-40 up there, driving down I-40, and it's storming out, right? Torrential downpour. You can barely see in front of you. You know, you're slowing down. You're worried. You don't want to hydroplane. You're trying to be careful of the big ass trailer behind you, right? You're going, and then you feel, and you have to jerk off the road because your tire blew out. Oh no, right? I'm painting a picture.
Yep.
And they're like, you know, they're on their fucking edge of their seat. I'm like, I do this 40 times a day. Do it in my sleep. Smoke a cigarette. I'm doing it. Like, oh. So, all right. So I'm getting there, and you know, they're leaning in, and I'm talking softer and softer because I want them to lean in. So they lean in, and then I say, you pull over, and you know, you guys get out of the car. It's pouring rain. You're soaked. You know, you run out real quick. You see that one of your tires is completely shredded, right? And then I finally engage with the guy, and I say, are you going to change that tire? And I get real loud. He says, yeah, of course I'm going to change that tire. And then I go, yes. I say, I look at her. I say, is he going to change that tire? And she says, no. And then I say, okay, well, you definitely want to have the tire protection.
Wow.
So but I had such a blast going through these techniques and like learning like, oh, it's just, you know, positioning words to kind of get the end result, what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And it drives the bottom line.
Wordplay, reverse psychology.
All of it. Yeah. So that was like my first, like all the stuff before that. It's like, yeah, I was selling and like I was able to close stuff and whatever. But like that was the first time I'm like, oh, this is a system that I can learn.
Yeah.
And it got me really interested because before sales was like,
it's just sales.
I got to sell. You know, I was one of those people that you guys probably know, you know, the new guy, right? Who's like, oh God, I got to make a cold call. And then after that switch for me.
And then it's a game.
Oh, it's a game.
Yeah.
And it's powerful. I was like, oh, I understand now.
I love that.
So I got fired again. So I got fired again soon after that. But I guess I left. But
sold too many tire protection plans.
No. What was very political there. They fired like all the management there because it was a newer dealership. And then the regional guy was just kind of had his head up his ass. And he talked to me, and I was like, I'm not fucking doing any of this. Goodbye. And like, I'm out of here. Like, whatever. Because I was working like 100-hour weeks, 110-hour weeks. I pulled an RV around back. I was living in it. I'd walk.
Come on.
Yeah, literally. I pulled around back, plugged it in, and then I would wake up early in the morning, really fucking early in the morning, walk in, turn the alarm off, flip the lights on, drink 7 Monsters, and sit down at my computer all day long until everyone else left. I was the last person there every day. Turn off the lights, turn the alarm on, walk to my stupid RV. Everything, like no days off, 0 days off, just
wow.
And I just got burnt out. Like it was good money and whatever, but it's just like, what am I doing? Why am I building somebody else's shit business?
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, so like this is in my head. I'm just getting toasted. So finally I left. Took a few months off, basically just to like recalibrate my brain. Made some pretty bad decisions during that time period, but that was fun stories. And then I was like, okay, I got to get a job or something, right? Like I got to do something. I can't just sit around in my condo here. So, one of my employees from that dealership was like, "Hey, man, you know, I know you like sales. Why don't you go try selling timeshare?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." So, yeah, it's funny, but I did. I got connected with a guy, did an interview. They hired me because they'll hire anyone. Come to find out, but went in and basically, the interesting part about that was they put me through a 2-week. Only sales training. So it was fortuitous timing for me because, you know, in the grand scheme of things, like I didn't want to be in that career, but the fact that they put me through training that was only for sales was awesome. Like they spent millions and millions of dollars on a sales program.
Yeah.
So like I'm talking full booklets. Yeah. You have to fill out everything. You have to fill out like situation-based decision-making for just sales. And, that was real interesting to me because, you know, after 2 weeks of like role playing with people and like, okay, tell me, you know, is he amiable, assertive, like understanding like body language? We were talking about that, like body language, understanding how to match that person, how to counteract certain things, how to, you know, ask a question. Now I was like, hey, John, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite? Blue. Okay, great. And then you forget about that question, but it's in my head, right? And later, I'm trying to sell you something that's blue, right? And you're like, I don't really know. I was like, I'm a little confused, John.
I thought you liked blue.
I thought you liked remember earlier when you told me that you liked blue is your favorite color on the planet? What happened? What changed between now and then, that makes you say you don't want blue now?
Yeah,
That's smart.
that's good.
Yeah,
I don't
that is good.
understand. Are you confused? I'm confused. So, right, like it started teaching me more complex ways to do the same thing.
Mm.
Uh-huh.
So just getting better, working on the craft. And, you know, at the time I was like, this job's fucking stupid. But looking back, I'm like, that's, you know, those few pieces of sales knowledge have really impacted how I can do business now. You know, even training people how to sell, like it's bar none, like that training was fucking amazing. And I took all their, I almost said stole. I did not steal for legal purposes.
Yeah.
I borrowed some of their information when I left, because they gave me booklets that you fill out. It's like, my writing's on there, so I'm gonna take it with me. So even to this day, I'll go reference some of that stuff. Like, it might be a little outdated, but I'll go reference it. I'm like, what was that word track that we used? And I'll go look back and like, oh, that's super. It'll be like a way for me to create new ideas based around that. I'm gonna use the same thing, but it's just something that will like generate like, hey, why don't you try it this way? Because they did it this way and that did work. Okay, that's cool. And I found out sales is a lot, depending on the product, it's a lot about, you know, what the emotion is of that person. And there's some industries you can't really do too much of that, but I always take that to heart, because it's like, what is the real motivation for this person to want the thing? Right? If you're selling shoes to somebody, can you make that emotional? I think that's the question I always ask myself. It's like, can you make this an emotional connection to the person?
Well, we deal with houses and properties. That's emotional.
Yeah.
Super emotional.
100%.
Right.
What do you guys do that is so good at working out those deals in the sales process?
What do we do that's so good? I mean, for me, I look at sales like it's like an equation. Like, it's what's the problem and how do I solve it, right? You really got to identify what their actual problem is, because there's a lot of ways that we were talking about this. There's a lot of ways to skin the cat. It could, you know, be a cash deal. It could be, you know, we could help them sell the property. We could list it. We could do seller finance. Like, there's a lot of ways to skin the cat, but you got to figure out, how am I going to solve their problem? And that's how I always looked at sales. I'm like, it's more of a logic. You're saying emotion. I kind of look at it like a logic based thing, but I think it's a little bit of both, right? I mean,
the adage that I've always said is like, when emotion is high, people buy. Because because like, as an example, yeah, you say it's logic, but you just said remember earlier when you said it's emotion?
Yeah.
So, so because it is emotion, like if you call somebody, I don't know who your target is, but like if it's somebody that's like, hey, I'm struggling, I got to get out of this property, whatever.
Right.
That's pretty fucking emotional.
For sure.
Right. And if you come at it like, okay, totally understand, let me just get like, yeah, that'll probably work. But your conversion rate on somebody that's like, hey, oh, I'm so sorry you're going through that.
Yeah.
And you're that connection. Cause like, I used to do this all the time. I still do it. If I'm talking to somebody in the South, I'll throw on a Southern accent like immediately without thinking about it. Cause it's just, it's second nature. Right. And if I'm talking to like an older lady, I'll talk to her like my grandma. Right. And I'm super sweet and soft and cause like, that's what they're looking for here.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're in a situation like that, like I'm going to cater to that situation by being understanding. And if I'm talking to her, it's like, look, the bottom dollar I could do is $60,000. Like, I'll give you $42,000. How's that?
Right.
Like, you know, like fuck off. Like, you know, like if you just match the energy.
They're looking for some comfort. Like,
yeah, you give them the comfort, give them what they need. That's it.
But you're also, you know, wow, I'm sure that's really tough for you. And you know, how is that affecting
put
your
yourself
family?
in their put yourself in their shoes, and the conversion rate's correct. So like, it sounds a little cold, but like if you look at it from a metric perspective, like if you can match people, just that one thing, match people, then add in asking for their clothes, and doing things like that, like your conversion rate goes through the roof.
Oh yeah,
on whatever you're doing.
I've been told in my office that I end up talking like whoever I'm talking to.
Yeah,
like they can tell who I'm talking. Like, am I talking to like a Jewish guy or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, and it's
Hey,
like
buddy.
I don't even try to do it. I
Yeah.
just do it by accident.
Yeah.
And I mean that's mirroring, right? Like
Yeah,
that's just,
it's all it is. And what it is like if you're not trained to do that, but you're good, you'll pick up. It becomes just like a natural thing.
so you don't even notice that you're doing.
No
it.
idea.
Yeah.
No clue.
Just pivot and auto adjust. Like,
Yeah, literally, there's some video of me doing a cold call, and I like immediately, like, I was like, "Hey, is this so and so?" And they started talking. I was like, "How you doing, man?" Like, it's
Like the Southern accent.
I didn't even know until after, like, I was like, I watched the thing, I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like,
That's
holy
so
moly.
funny.
But yeah, I mean, like, that's what it takes in sales, because you're like, not to sound shitty about it, but you are trying to get a result. You are trying to manipulate to some extent, not maliciously. You're trying to solve their problem.
Yeah.
But people need direction, and you have to build the framework and direct them. That if you don't know what you're doing, you're just gonna like stumble over yourself, right, until you get there.
So we're running up on time here, but I think I figured you out.
Oh, tell me,
I
please.
think I figured you
Let my therapist know.
right. No, yeah, I'll write him a memo.
Yeah, please.
No, I mean we had a podcast that was all about focus, and we had somebody come on that was you know, he's a young kid, he's killing it, and he has a big goal, and everything that he does is centered towards that goal, right? Yeah. And I think that really works for him. Book I'm reading now talks about, you know, figuring out one, what's your unique ability? What are you really good at? Right? And then how to design your day or your life in a way where you're doing more of just that. Yeah. So I you know, you're good at a lot of things. It seems like you're really good at sales, obviously. It seems like you're good at building teams, building companies, putting the right people in the right place. What do you think is your unique, what are you really good at better than anybody else?
It's tough. I mean, it's going to sound corny, but I'm willing to go places other people aren't and essentially just never stop until I get it. If I have an objective I set out to do, unless I know it's a bullshit thing and I'm not really committed to it, I'll drop it. But if it's something serious, I commit myself to it in very serious ways. It's my hill to die on is how I think of it. Because like I joke about it earlier, I was like, we're all going to die. Right. And like, this is the thing I like doing. And it would be foolish of me to not capitalize on doing something I enjoy and can be good at certain times. And do it half-assed. If I do it half-assed, I'm disappointing myself and people around me. That's how I think of it. So, I think I'm a dog that won't let go of a bone is the best way I can describe that.
Wow. I love that.
I feel like I know for a fact Parker's exactly like us, like in the sense of like, what does Dana White say? Bet on me, like bet against me. Like I fucking love it. He's like, tell me I can't do it. Like, all right, now I'm really going to fucking do it.
Really
yeah, now I'm really
I'll drop everything tomorrow and go do that for the rest of my life.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
I love it.
That's positive, hopefully.
No, definitely.
We'll see.
So if you're giving advice to someone that's, you know, on the fence, they're not sure if this game is for them, they want to be an entrepreneur. I mean, you were born an entrepreneur, it sounds like. I personally believe that you're born an entrepreneur, you're not. Some people think you can learn it. I'm not sure.
I don't think you can learn it, but I think being born has into it has like a natural, gravitation towards or proclivity towards like not wanting to listen to people, listen to your own shit.
Yeah.
Pave your own path. Yeah. But if you're on the edge of becoming an entrepreneur, you know, it depends on where you're at, obviously, because a general statement's tough, but if you're considering it, do your due diligence. And then if it's something that you feel strongly about and you think you have the skill to do it and don't look back and put every ounce of energy you have into making it work for as long as you can. That's it.
I love that. Burn the boats, baby.
Burn the boats. That's right.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Parker, you're the man. I think we got to wrap this up.
Right.
We appreciate having you here. I think we got to do another one because I don't even think we got it.
We definitely
have this stuff.
Ranted.
But Parker, where do people find you, bro?
So let's see. Instagram, Parker D. Little. LinkedIn, but don't message me there because I'll never see it.
Message John on LinkedIn.
Message John. He'll get back to you.
He's notorious for answering.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome, bro. We'll get you back on for sure. This was amazing. And we appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.